England versus New Zealand, a one-score game that either side could have won. In this video, we're going to look at why England's drop goal routine didn't produce the same result as it did in the World Cup last year. Now, Ford misses a penalty just before, and England get a scrum from a New Zealand knock-on. England have some problems to solve here. Their scrums have been under pressure since the substitutions, so using it to win a penalty is out, and that's important as it removes that immediate concern for New Zealand, allowing them to confidently attack England's scrum. With the scrum so unstable, the drop goal from the scrum isn't that appealing an option, but it should have been. With Leonard Brown out of the game due to his sin bin, Rogard has to drop and defend at 10, so there would have been no 9 pressure on the kicker from the scrum or the pass. But with that scrum instability, they decide to go for a launch play. And we need to understand that it's not immediately about setting up for the drop goal. They're first of all looking to attack off the scrum, trying to score. And if that doesn't come off, they'll fall back into working through the phases, trying to win a penalty. And finally, if it presents itself, they can then take the drop goal attempt. England are set up with a split attack. Furbank in behind Ford means that whichever way they split, they'll have a good chance of creating an overload against the split New Zealand defence. The call is left, as we'll see from Randall's actions at the scrum. We can see Ford telling Randall and Dombrandt the call. The issue here is with the scrum under such pressure, he can't choose his options and he can't react to if Ford changes the call. They're committed and have to go with what they've called. With the scrum under pressure, Randall has to go in and get the ball, so he can't just scoot from the base of the scrum. He has to stand and look and is immediately met by a surveyor. And this forces him back out, and that in turn means he misses Ford's run, who overshoots him. The attack's broken down before it even started. And the importance of a dominant set piece is never more evident than here. England retain the ball, but have immediately gone back 15 metres. So they now have to drop into phase play and build for a penalty or laterally a drop goal. Baxter carries to try and get on the front foot, but as they recycle, we can see even with Slade coming around late, there's no real second line of attack. And this means New Zealand don't need to be worried about a wide attack and can just defend the ball carriers, which is a huge shame because as we can see, Jordan actually misreads and steps in on Slade and Earl, leaving Freeman unmarked. England carry again off the ruck, trying to soak up defenders and get on the front foot again. But we can see how narrow England's attack is. They aren't working to the edge, just running through phases, looking for a penalty or drop goal. As phases go on, we can see how narrow England's pod system gets due to tiredness. The problem is that means New Zealand don't have to worry about offline runners stressing isolated defenders. We can see no defenders looking deep to see if England have any runners in play, and they can just hunt in packs and just flood the midfield, stopping any chance of momentum. Again, a single pod, no depth on the attack, and if you simply match the attack, it's easy to defend. One more carry and the speed of the ruck drops out as they heavily resource the ruck. The more this goes on, the more likely they are to concede a penalty themselves. So Randall goes in to dig, and we can see even as he passes, he's still fighting to get the ball clear. As Ford gets the ball, we can see what that slow ruck has done. New Zealand have chasers both sides of the ruck, and pressure is coming on Ford from left and right. And as England have no escape options to Ford, he is the defender's only concern and they can all pressure him. It's now or never. If we flip the camera angle, we can see Ford has to adjust his position once the ball is in the air, moving laterally from left to right to outside of the post, meaning all momentum is moving away from where he wants to be. The high pass means he has to bring the ball down and adjust it, as we can see with the ball laying flat as he corrects it on the way down. And that sideways momentum and high catch has turned him out, away from the post, so he's always having to kick back across himself, and that's a hard kick. He strikes it straight, and we can see it fade to the right as he hits its apex. We can also see that flat spin on the ball where he's kicked across it due to the momentum his sideways step has generated, and as he tries to bring it back across him towards the posts. Ford is an excellent drop goal kicker, kicking 3 drop goals against Argentina last year in the World Cup. But the difference here is that team was settled and well rehearsed in these processes. Here we have a new half-back pairing with Randall fresh on the international scene, and they're not quite linked in here. And it's these little details that are the difference between winning and losing the game.